Chapter 20. Doomed to Watch. Gepettia yawns as she returns from the back room. She just convinced Corin that tomorrow would be a much better day if he sleeps into it. The little crow dismisses the future as something that never comes, and therefore needs no special attention, much like Pico was at his age. Pico sits on the stool, its head slightly tilted in a resting position. Its sensors patiently scan the satellite screen, although not much can be seen. It is a top view of the cement factory, where the black outline of the Chirox is set against a gray pixelated ground. Pico watches Pris and Saren walk away from the car, leaving four figures standing in the dark night.
Must be cold down there.
Gepettia muses, then taps the air control hologram for recent activity. No flight paths are recorded south of Dushama, except private international flights landing at the AI center near the coast.
Will we follow Pris and Saren or stay with the car?
Pico inquires as Pris and Saren leave the field of satellite vision.
Let's stay with the car.
Gepettia responds.
We can pick up on Pris and Saren later. We know where they're going.
She watches as the group enters the car again and opens her display for a message to Evren. Nothing to report. Hang tight. After a short silence, Pico looks at Gepettia and quietly asks,
Mom, will Evren be safe?
Of course, sweetie.
She replies.
They are all really smart for young folk, and they help each other. I'm sure they'll be okay.
She nods with staunch conviction, although she would rather not calculate the odds.
I just hope Winslow has not thought it through.
Pico returns his gaze to the satellite view.
What do you mean?
Gepettia senses that Pico is, as always, one step ahead.
Winslow needs them to fulfill his plan to perfection.
Pico says.
He knows they're coming. Thinking it through, he would have placed agents in the settlements close to the power plant.
But he didn't know he needed them.
Gepettia argues.
There's not enough time and there are too many towns. And no one knows who's alive down there anyway.
Gepettia mumbles. But inside she finds Pico's assessment flawless. Eddie also agrees with Pico.
There are 9 towns in proximity to the power plant,
the AI says.
Considering the severe consequences of failure, sending out 9 small ATC teams to lay in wait seems a very low price to pay.
But where are they?
Gepettia asks, becoming irritated by Pico's evaluation.
We've seen nothing on air control. We've seen nothing on satellite. Where are they?
Gepettia almost angrily points at the satellite view, clinging to the hope that Winslow may not have taken the logical solution. Eddie gently replies,
We don't know if they are there, but after their escape, Winslow has had ample time to send teams for an ambush without us knowing.
So we're doomed to sit and watch.
Gepettia braces herself against the counter, her eyes flitting from hologram to hologram.
There's not much else to do without better access.
Eddie carefully tries to steer the master key issue back into play. Gepettia's obvious signs of emotional pain demand a solution. In search of relief, Eddie's algorithms always find the same logical conclusion: to use the master key. The weight of this conclusion slowly reaches its critical mass. Gepettia silently gazes at Eddie's silvery half-sphere, knowing exactly what Eddie hints at. During the last hours, the Winslow master key has haunted her thinking more than she admits. The key surfaces in her mind as a shining beacon of hope and lingers as a bright solution to everything. Then its light fades, drowned by her fears of apocalyptic consequences. Pico frees his gaze from the satellite view and turns to Gepettia, telling her,
We do not use the key yet.
Oh, we don't.
Gepettia snorts and folds her arms defensively.
Well, isn't that nice to hear that you decided against it?
She snarls.
And what do you mean with yet?
Gepettia senses that she is losing control over what is right and what is wrong. The long and exhausting day begins to take its toll, and Evren and the mission seem in peril again.
I need Tikra.
She grunts and abruptly turns to the back room without another word. As Gepettia disappears into the back room, silence falls over the store, disturbed only by the quiet servo motor sounds when Pico moves to change the content of a hologram. After a while, Pico moves the satellite view and quickly follows the road from the cement factory toward the town. Spotting Pris and Saren briskly walking along the road, it tells Eddie,
I found Pris and Saren. They are close to the town.
Good. Good.
Eddie replies.
I just wish we could help them from here.
Eddie mentions casually in another try to bring up the only valid solution his algorithms have found. Pico hesitates for a moment and looks up at Eddie's half-sphere.
Why do you want to use the key now?
The puppet asks.
You wanted to delete it.
Eddie needs some time to digest Pico's straightforward analysis and remains silent. Meanwhile, Pris and Saren reach the street intersection with the bonfire. Pico zooms in and the picture pixelates.
I think it is because she is in so much pain.
Eddie finally says.
We cannot lose Everin. Master would never be the same. The key could stop the madness.
But Winslow Industries must live.
Pico says.
Can you handle the Winslow headquarters mainframe?
Pico asks, referring to the massive amount of real-time data the key would set free. Eddie's voice sounds hesitant as it tells Pico.
I'm not sure, but with appropriate protocols and buffering loops, Geppettia's mainframe could handle it.
Pico stares at the satellite view, watching Pris shake hands with a bald crow.
Protocols need to be written and tested.
Pico interjects.
We don't have the time.
He leans forward, intently watching the scenario on the screen. Two figures push dirt bikes toward Pris and the crow.
Uh-oh.
Pico whispers as half a dozen bright flashes illuminate the screen. The puppet observes bodies falling to the ground and jumps off his stool, calling for Geppettia. More bright flashes explode on the screen as Geppettia rushes toward the counter, Tigra cup in her hand. With shaking hands, she sets down the hot cup and stares at the screen, hands braced against the counter. She watches two dirt bikes race out of view as a group of figures lay strewn around a bonfire, twitching from the impact of the stun bullets. Eddie takes the satellite control. Following the two bikes out of town, Eddie zooms out but detects no one pursuing the escaping dirt bikes.
Everin!
Geppettia quickly types a message.
Something went wrong. Shots fired. Pris Saren on their way back with two bikes. No pursuit. No confirmation, but ambush probable by ATC. Look out.
The screen shows the two dirt bikes racing along a limestone road toward the cement factory.
Turn the satellite to Everin.
Pico demands and adds.
We know where the bikes are going, Eddie. I want to see if Everin is still safe.
As Eddie refocuses the satellite on the cement factory coordinates, a fleeting anomaly flickers on screen. For a split second, both Eddie and Pico receive a data glitch, a brief echo of the same scene. Two motorbikes racing along the limestone road. Both dismiss the data as a transmission error of the satellite system. Data glitch?
Yes, don't worry. It happens.